Hey guys, it is a late night shave and I'm going to use one of my favorite scents. It is a conglomeration of four of my all-time favorites, and it's mainly lower bass notes instead of the higher stuff, and maybe that's why I like it. We're talking leather, vetiver, sandalwood, uh, and one more that I really like, um, tobacco, I think. And so Mammoth Stones is the soap, and it's their Tusk base, which is superb. The blade we're going to be putting in the Wolfman Open Comb Guerrilla is the feather, and as you can see, it's only got about 7 shaves on it. And then we're going to be working all the soap up together with a Shave Nook limited edition brush from this year, from 2020, from Semogue. And this is the premium bristle hair. I've used it one time and it was pretty prickly, a little bit prickly. It wasn't nearly as comfortable as most of the other most of the other Semogue brushes that I've had. I didn't soak it for very long the previous usage. This time I gave it 45 minutes of soaking before today's shave. Let's go ahead and get the blade in the razor. So this is that fat stainless steel handle. It is hollow inside. It's got caps on the end, otherwise it would be really heavy. And this is the Wolfman. It's out of production now, but it was in production a few years ago, and there wasn't a wait list. And at that time, for the normal WR1s, there was a huge wait list. And so this was a relief. Somebody advised me, hey, buy the Guerrilla. I said, what are some ones to watch out for? And he gave me a list, and those turned out to be really good razors that agreed with me, and so I was very grateful for that. And so when I bought my original solid bar Guerrilla, not the closed comb here, it was in stock and that sort of thing. I had to buy this one aftermarket. They're pretty rare. You don't see them too often. I haven't yet tried the feather in it, and I haven't shaved with this maybe 8 times or so. I just got so many razors I like to use, and I thought today would be a great time to do that. And I can't believe I hadn't put a feather in it yet. It's not a pristine feather since it's been used 7 times or so, but it should give me a good idea about how it works with that. All right, very good. And then the only missing note in this soap that is one of my favorites is oud, and I believe that's represented here with Agar. I don't know how to pronounce it. And it's the Stirling balm, and so that'll be a nice follower, a little trailer at the end of the shave, and we'll see how it agrees with the rest of the notes here in the soap. We do have a 2-day growth that I'm dealing with today, so hopefully the feather will just cut right through that. All right, so this is what it looks like. I've either used this once or twice. I can't remember. Oh, so good. And now that we've had the brush soaking for really 55 minutes, shake much of the water out. It's totally normal to have a bore brush be a little too stiff at the beginning, not hold very much lather, where you even have to go back after or before each pass to get more soap. That's okay. That's normal. For some brushes, it's normal for 20 or 30 uses. For most of the Semogues I've had, it's normal for between 5 and 15 uses. Then after that, it's usually going to get a lot more friendly. So second use here, and we can accelerate things a little bit by, I'm going to start at 20, and I'm going to go to 50 for this soap base for a 30-second load. You can accelerate things a little bit by doing that longer soak like I do. I don't like the fridge soak mechanism, little shortcuts that some people are fond of. I just have this gut feeling that splitting those hairs, in doing that, you want to do it in the most gradual way possible so that the splits happen in just the best places. If you get split in the wrong places, then that weaker part will fall off, and then you've got less, goodness to deal with. Well, we didn't get super wet due to the amount that I shook out. So we'll just see how this looks good, and I bet it will do just fine. 3D printed bowl. In the description of the video will be some links where you can download those files to print this up if you have a printer, or you can take them to an online service and they can print it for you. So I can feel that these bristles are giving me some backbone here, and that's okay. Like I said, it's normal for a low usage boar brush to do that. Oh, that's such a good soap. Just going to go ahead and shoot 2 teaspoons in here from the beginning. Shoving the lather up into the brush can cause it to splay out a little bit. I find that really helps. Not necessarily to age the brush and break it in more. I think it helps just when you go to the face. It's already, splayed out. You're already containing lather inside the brush. So it just helps it to be an easier transition. Looked pretty wet before, but as you can see, we're looking really nice and creamy right now. Just took some mixing to get that brush to combine with the existing water in play. Another ½ teaspoon. I think this soap base likes it if I don't go quite so lean, quite so hydrated with it. So I'm going to try to remember that. Keep it in my brain as I look at the lather. Look how creamy that is. It's beautiful. I might want it to go just a little more moist, so it's add another ½ teaspoon for a total of 3 teaspoons of water added. Maybe that'll be enough. Maybe I will want to stop there. It will probably look like I should keep going, but with this base I think it might, and this brush being a little on the stiff side, I might appreciate a lather that dampens the brush effect a little bit. I've got other brushes that have the premium grade bristles, and I really enjoy those, and so I'm definitely looking forward to the future where this brush will be one of my favorites. Should go with it. Get my face wet. All right. See how this brush treats me. Much better than the first use. That 45 minute soak, 55 minute soak, seems like it made a big difference. terms of the comfort of the tips. It's just a little scritchy right now, whereas before it was pretty prickly. Also, you see what's happening? We do have some lather here around the base of the knot. Don't have very much in the brush at all. That's pretty normal for these kind of boar brushes, especially on the first pass, where my skin oils are kind of destroying the soap a little bit. And all you have to do is go back to your lather bowl, pick up a little bit more. And there we go. I do usually like to work it just a little bit more, but since this lather is, since this brush is, it's kind of hard to work because of the firmness of the bristles at this young age. I'm just gonna pause. Oh man, what a great scent. All right, let's see. 2 days of hair growth. Tack it with a feather, and the solid bar version of this razor head is a very mild, oh, that's cutting nicely, is a very mild razor head, so mild that I think there are a good many people that bought up this particular model, the solid bar version, thinking, hey, Wolfman, and a lot of people do like a more aggressive head. And so then they were complaining about this razor, when I think they just expected it to do something it wasn't designed to do. It's cutting through these 2 days easily. I do feel the cutting and just a slight bit of tugging, but that, come on, it's 2 days. You're going to get that very often, at least in my case, I sure do. Lather, I think, consistency-wise for this brush right now, and all things considered, I believe I nailed it just right. And rinse. Now I did some buffing on that first pass, and so that can mean that I could probably stop after 2 passes. I kind of took a little bit more off than I might normally like to on my first pass. So now I'm just loading up the brush again. We don't have tons of soap in the bowl, and so I had to kind of work at it just a little bit. Cross grain now. Now this is giving me some blade feel. I am kind of getting a little tenderness feeling in a few of the areas, and so that's telling me that the blade is really riding close to the skin, and so in some cases I'm getting it a little too close to the skin, and it's giving me just a little bit of razor burn. I think I even have a weeper right here. So even though this is an open comb that is on a mild base plate, typically. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a mild razor when you make it an open comb. And let's rinse. Now this third pass, let's just make it kind of a very gentle pass and see what happens. I could definitely get away with leaving out this third pass if I wanted, but there are a few cleanup spots that I'd like to get. And with this brush going, it could be some irritation that is helped by the brush's kind of prickliness. All right, now just a gentle, a very light touch. I think I like the closed comb better. Just smoother. And you don't have this kind of tenuous blade feel where you just don't have to worry about your technique too much with that solid bar. The open comb is just bringing out the kind of the blade sharpness. And as, you know, if you work at it and learn to use that, then I think this could be a really good razor. Yeah, see, I'm getting a little bit of razor burn on my neck here, right around here. So, however, in most areas, I've got a very nice close shave here. Now, what's the question? Does that little extra irritation, is that because the blade's been used 7 times? Or is the fact that it's got that many uses on it, which is sometimes more than people can actually get from a feather blade, is that actually helping to smooth it out a little bit? A newer blade would be even more, giving me more feel and more prone to irritation if I didn't handle it very carefully. We'll answer that question in the future. Try to write that down and do that kind of experiment in the future. Well, I've got a nice close shave. The kind of irritation I'm experiencing just is not a big deal, and it's going to go away maybe in an hour, probably less. I've got some balm here, and that's going to take care of it. But I usually would not like to repeat this kind of experience. I like it to be more smooth and comfortable, even if I don't get as razor smooth, as baby butt smooth a cut. So we will continue to put blades in it and just kind of see where we end up. A nice cool water rinse can also be very healing, very soothing after a shave that's given you some irritation. A little bit of that Stirling Agar. I just think this has got to be a good mix with the stones. And you can see, because my face was dabbed dry, you can definitely see a little bit of the whiteness from the balm, but just be a few minutes and it will absorb, no problem. So let's compare the scent here with the soap and the balm. Oh man, that leather. Oh, so nice. And a little bit of woodiness. The Agar really isn't jumping out too much. I think maybe the scents here in the soap are just a little bit overwhelming for it. Interesting. All right, Mammoth stones, great job. We will put in a fresher blade, a fresher feather blade in this razor sometime. I've also got a feather that's about 63, 62 uses. Might be good to put that one in there as well in this razor and see if the experience is different. Gotta clean up my gear. So after a stropping, and here's the tortoise colored handle. It's really neat. It's indicative of the special edition from the Shave Nook. Really nice deep coloring. And as you can see, we've got some, you might be able to see some of the split tips, but we're gradually starting to kind of splay out more and more as we use the brush. And so it'll be interesting to see where this guy decides to shift into comfortable, usable mode and leaves that new bore stuff behind. Lots of bristles, and so I think that's going to differentiate this brush against many of his friends. The 830 and the 1305 also have the premium grade bristles, but they are less dense. And so this is going to offer a different experience than those guys. But I know that the tips are going to really work in nicely. And so I'm confident it's going to be a very enjoyable brush. Similar to the Semogue Owners Club, but going to be slightly different somehow, because the Semogue Owners Club is a special grade bristle, and these are what's called the premium grade bristle. So it looks like we ended up using and sticking with the 3 teaspoons of water for this shave, 30 seconds of loading, 3 teaspoons of water, and the brush was just lightly wet. So the idea behind the Mammoth Stones scent is that these are notes that are just solid, and it represents and it tries to encourage to just keep going, just stay strong and keep going. These aren't the flighty high notes that kind of come and entertain and then go away. These are those bass notes that last and are kind of qualitative and have some gravitas to them. And so I think that's the name, the Stones, and I appreciate that. And it just I happen to I like that in theory, as well as I really like it in the actual scent implementation as well. I love these bass notes. So a big thumbs up from me, that's for sure. Yeah, the razor and blade combination gave me a little tender treatment. And I do have a couple of weepers, one here and one over here. But even now, the balm is doing its thing. The cool water rinse after the 3rd pass also being a refreshing part of the healing process. And as I'm moving around, it's not bothering me at all. Just a tiny, tiny bit of irritation. I can feel that there was a problem there, but only in a very, very small way. And so easy to move on from there, that's for sure. So some people who like more aggressive shaves may really enjoy the open comb Guerrilla, where they would eschew, don't get to use that word very much, where they would not like the solid bar because it would be too mild for them. Well, that's my shave, and this is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I sure hope that there's been something in this one to help you out. It's going to get you something good in your wet shaving journey. You guys, take care. Stay safe out there. Good night.